Ladies and gentlemen, toss aside any notions of love and loyalty. This wedding spiraled into a chaotic food fight, complete with the wail of police sirens in the distance. Just when it seemed like Remy Ma couldn't sink any lower, she grabbed the extravagant wedding cake and launched it like an Olympic shot put toward the altar. That's right, a $5,000 custom fondant masterpiece, soaring through the air and exploding on impact. And all of it happened in front of 200 stunned guests. And a live audience still tuned into the stream. What pushed Remy Ma over the edge? Was it the vows, the kiss, or the sight of Claressa Shields glowing in white, walking down the aisle to marry Papoose, while Remy sat like an afterthought in the shadows? One moment, she was quietly watching from the back row. The next, she was on her feet, yelling, "That should have been me!" before launching a tier of red velvet cake like a pro athlete in mid-competition. Security hesitated, guests were frozen in disbelief, and within seconds, Remy was in handcuffs, frosting smeared on her hands, heels abandoned, shouting about betrayal and broken promises. So what really happened during those wild 45 seconds? Stay tuned. The footage is unbelievable, and the fallout, even more jaw-dropping. Let's set the scene. And no, this isn't a scene from Scandal or a clip from a Love and Hip Hop reunion. It's real. Well, reality meets madness kind of real. The drama was messier than a toppled wedding cake. The venue, pure opulence. Think sparkling chandeliers, champagne in crystal flutes, live harpists flown in straight from France, and a guest list boasting hip-hop royalty and elite athletes. Claressa Shields and Papoose pulled out all the stops. No budget, no previews, just $1 million affair draped in white silk. And just as they stood ready to say, "I do," all hell broke loose. Camera pans to the very back, and who's standing there? That's right, Remy Ma, motionless, silent, eyes locked on the couple like a statue come to life. No one knows exactly how she got in. Rumors are swirling. Some say she slipped the decorator a few bills. Others claim she posed as a +1 for some long-lost cousin. One security guard swears he saw her at the rehearsal, blending in with the floral setup crew. However she managed it, one thing's certain: Remy made her entrance count. Every head in that room turned. A waiter, who barely made it out with his tray intact, described Remy as dressed to kill, almost literally. She wore a sleek black jumpsuit, her hair styled in an elegant updo, and heels so sharp they looked like they belonged in a weapons locker. This wasn't a peace offering. She didn't come to make amends, she came to steal the scene. And it didn't take long. Eyewitnesses say she waited patiently, calculating, until Claressa and Papoose were mid-vow. Then she struck. And let's be honest, this wasn't just an interruption. It was a detonation. "This has to be a joke, right?" Remy shouted, her voice echoing through the grand marble halls. The room erupted in stunned gasps. One guest even clutched her pearls. No exaggeration. Claressa tried to stay composed. She turned slightly, blinked once, and reportedly said with chilling calm, "You don't want to do this." But Remy was already locked in. Her eyes were fixed on the cake, a towering 6-foot, 3-tier marvel, layered with hand-painted red velvet and vanilla swirl, wrapped in gold-flaked fondant. It was less a dessert and more a work of art, worth more than a Manhattan apartment's down payment. In a flash of rage, Remy lunged toward the cake table. "No one marries my man and walks away clean," she screamed, seizing the top tier with both hands and launching it like something straight out of The Purge, wedding edition. Guests ducked for cover. A shriek sliced through the air. One bridesmaid dropped to the floor in a dead faint. The camera crew stood frozen, unable to react. The cake soared in slow motion, a whirlwind of frosting and fury, before slamming into the altar, toppling 2 candles, a bottle of champagne, and scattering Claressa's bouquet like confetti. Papoose stood frozen, jaw slack, as if someone had hit pause on reality. Claressa, on the other hand, didn't flinch. She calmly dabbed a napkin over her shoulder to wipe off the frosting, then turned and delivered a glare so sharp onlookers swore it could cut steel. But Remy wasn't done. Not even close. She wasn't just causing a scene, she was aiming straight for the heart. "You really think he forgot?" she shouted. "You think all that talk about loyalty was meant for you? I was there when he had nothing. Nothing. And now he hands you the dream he promised me? That's when everything truly unraveled." Reports say Remy made a mad dash for the microphone. At the DJ booth, But in the frenzy, she tripped over her own heel and crashed to the ground, straight into the dessert table. 3 crystal platters shattered, and a trail of chocolate mousse spread across the floor like a war zone. Security finally sprang into action. 2 guards from one side, another from the other. But even after the fall, Remy kept screaming, "She's not right for him. He's mine. Always has been mine. This is all a setup." Meanwhile, guests were already streaming the madness, their phones flashing like paparazzi cameras. Twitter exploding. Within 5 minutes, the hashtag #NotRemyRuins, the reception, was trending. And just when it seemed like it couldn't get any worse, Remy tried to climb onto the altar. That's when one bridesmaid lunged and tackled her mid-climb, while another, thinking fast, drenched Remy's heels with water to keep her from getting back up. By the time the police arrived, the scene was total mayhem, floral arrangements reduced to rubble, glass shards scattered everywhere, one fake eyelash hanging on for dear life, and Remy's face plastered in frosting. The officers approached, calmly asking her to stand up. She refused. "I'm not moving," she declared, until he looks me in the eyes and tells me he doesn't love me. A heavy silence fell over the room. Then, finally, Papoose, still, standing at the altar, frozen in shock and smeared with frosting, spoke up. "Remy, go home." That was it. The officers moved in, and Remy was escorted out barefoot, screaming the whole way, "He's lying! He's lying! This is all fake!" Outside, the paparazzi were already waiting. Photos of Remy, barefoot, handcuffed, makeup smudged and seething with anger, hit the internet before she even made it to the squad car. But here's the kicker. As soon as Remy disappeared from sight, Claressa turned to the stunned crowd, smoothed out her dress, and calmly said, "Let's start over from the top." And just like that, the ceremony was back on track. Same vows, same kiss, only now with a bit more frosting floating in the air. Most people thought the drama was over, but what the internet dug up after the event, that's what really set this story on fire. It turns out that cake toss, it wasn't some impulsive outburst. It was all part of the plan. What seemed like pure fury was actually a carefully orchestrated, frosting-fueled strike. Within 24 hours, anonymous sources began leaking shocking details. The first clue? A blurry screenshot of a group chat supposedly titled The Plan. In it, a message from someone listed as R-Red read, "Got the timing right? I'm going in at 4:17. Get the second angle from behind the flowers." Let that sink in. This wasn't just a meltdown, it was a meticulously planned strike. And if that wasn't enough to send the internet into overdrive, another leaked message surfaced. "When I throw the cake, make sure y'all capture his face." Yes, she wanted the cake toss and Papoose's reaction, filmed in crisp cinematic 4K. TikTok detectives wasted no time. They slowed down the footage, synced the timestamps, added dramatic music, and turned it into nothing short of the Zapruder film for hip-hop weddings. But things only got messier. Another account posted what appeared to be a screenshot of Remy's phone calendar. The event? Wedding interruption. The time? 4:15 p.m.? The description? "He needs to see me." Was it real? Had it been altered? No one could say for certain, but it felt genuine. And on the internet, that's all that matters. Twitter threads evolved into full-blown investigations. Reddit subforums exploded. One post, racking up over 13,000 upvotes, was bluntly titled, "How Remy Ma Orchestrated the Most Embarrassing Scene of 2025. Then, the leaked voicemail dropped, yes. A voicemail allegedly sent by Remy to a mutual friend just 2 days before the wedding. In it, a woman's voice, eerily familiar, said, "I don't care if it's messy. I don't care if it's tacky. If I need to remind him in front of everyone, I will." Cue the emotional piano music. Cue the memes. Cue the think pieces. Because by this point, it wasn't just a ruined wedding. It had become a full-blown cultural phenomenon. The public reaction? Pure chaos. Divided. Overwhelming. Team Remy rallied behind the idea that she was a woman wronged, acting out of deep, emotional pain. They argued that Remy had given Papoose everything. Her youth, her loyalty, her undying support, and watching him move on without her? Unthinkable. One fan tweeted, "She stood by him through prison, poverty, and every challenge. And this is how she's repaid? The cake toss was actually the more restrained option." Team Claressa didn't hold back, blasting Remy as a wedding-crashing, boundary-crossing woman with a martyr complex. Claressa's sister even went live, saying she wasn't invited. She showed up like a storm in a wig. Then Cardi B weighed in. Y'all had cake flying and exes yelling while I was home with a face mask. That tweet hit 1.2 million likes in no time. Scent followed up with a meme of Remy mid-cake toss, captioning, "She really delivered dessert." The chaos kept escalating. Remy unfollowed everyone except Papoose and burner account AKK Queen, started stoking the fire. Endorsements started dropping. Rumors about a fake pregnancy began to spread. Claressa stayed silent until she filed for justice. By Monday morning, Claressa Shields wasn't attending a post-wedding brunch. She was in court. Less than 48 hours after Remy Ma's frosting-fueled outburst, Claressa filed a civil lawsuit, accusing Remy of intentional disruption, emotional distress, and property damage. The suit outlined expenses like $5,300 for the ruined custom cake, $800 for the floral repairs, and $2,100 for extra security hours. But perhaps the most shocking part of the lawsuit was the claim of emotional sabotage, alleging PTSD symptoms such as frosting flashbacks and aisle anxiety. Remy's team responded, calling the incident a temporary emotional lapse, which only stoked the flames further. Claressa's comeback, a video with the caption, "You threw cake. I'm throwing consequences." Claressa's video racked up 1.4 million views within hours, fueling whispers of a calm, drama-free wedding with Papoose. Fans were divided, but the industry wasn't. Remy's brand was quickly falling apart. A fashion campaign dropped her, and Netflix pulled her segment from an upcoming docuseries. Once a celebrated figure, she was now labeled the wedding ruiner. Legal troubles followed, with rumors of a parole violation circling. Then a leaked email hinted at a planned redemption arc, but the damage was done. In response, Claressa released her own counterattack, a documentary titled The Vow and the Vendetta, featuring raw footage, guest interviews, and even an appearance from Papoose. A parody bakery even launched a bittersweet betrayal cake. Amidst the memes and viral frenzy, one undeniable truth remained. Remy had lost it all.